Welcome to Lunch Break Tarot. I'm Jolene, and if this video has found you, there's a message in it that you're supposed to hear at this time, big or small, so trust the timing. And when something I say resonates, please let me know by liking and subscribing. Let's get on with your reading. I'm going to use the Christina Ricci deck called Cat Full of Spiders today. I just found it. I brought it with me on vacation for 4th of July, and I have been looking for it ever since, and I finally found it. It was under a pile of blankets that I never got to after I came home. So, all right, let's get on with your reading. What would you benefit from knowing about before it happens? Firstly, we have Temperance. Could be dealing with the Sagittarius, or you could be literally with this eclipse. I mean, I'll show you. This is a pretty fun deck. I don't know if this is that. What is she in? So she's in some kind of yellow jackets. I don't know if this is from that or what, but she's in a diner and she's got a couple of pots of coffee and she's tempering them the way you do with like something eggy, something hot and eggy into something cold. You have to temper it, otherwise your yolks will curdle. So do you feel like that? Have you been feeling like you need to temper things or you're gonna blow? Or get a little overcooked? Separate? What else have we got? And I also want to address a couple of things too. As soon as we get a few cards, it's some things I was going to save for my eventual tarot course, but since it's coming up in the comments, I want to go ahead and explain it here. A little bit of my professional expertise of being a tarot reader. There's like really common setbacks. I did take a tarot course myself, which like was so great to be able to do because I got to learn from somebody I already really liked. It was Tarot and Astrology with Michelle. It's her channel. She has a tarot course. And she's a Sagittarius, speaking of Sages. And I took her course and it was really fun. But she helped me with a couple of the common things that come up as being a tarot reader, but there's just some stuff that I have picked up myself that I think is really valuable, and I want to talk about that too. All right, then we have the Sun. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And we have the Three of Pentacles. All right. The Sun card is reminding me of, so I've really been struggling with my neck issue, which by the way, it is better right now. It is not 100% better, but it's quite a bit better. But I had to be so on top of it pretty much constantly since yesterday. And I attended 2 energy healing session webinars with Dorothy Rowe of distance energy work. And I also got like some guidance, synchronistic guidance here and there, prayed a lot. And all of that combined has helped me help my neck. But anyway, the Sun card reminds me, there's a newsletter I read this morning from Lori Lothian. She has a tarot or astrology channel too. And she said, which by the way, she's a psychic medium and she's also autistic and she goes into trance states really easily. But she was having acupuncture and Jesus visited her and Jesus said, rather than trying to get rid of the rain, to remember the sun. And I have been focusing on this constriction in my neck, trying to like release the cords and hooks, whatever it is that's causing the blockage, focusing on like the emotion, trying to feel my feelings, feel. And it has been relentless. And then whenever I just took my attention off of it, which felt very counterintuitive, it felt like taking my hand off of a hole of a leaky boat by not paying attention to it. But if me doing my same old stuff hasn't really been that effective, I'm like, I will try anything. So I just remembered the sun, and the sun is a metaphor for God, of course. And lo and behold, that raised my vibration. Raising your vibration is your best defense towards things that it feels like you can't handle. So, and sometimes focusing on the darkness makes it grow. Sometimes it's important, you need to put attention in places, and it takes discernment to know when to do what. But if you've tried one and it doesn't work, try the other one. Then we have the Three of Pentacles, which has to do with getting together with others and like maybe entering some kind of a contract, a work contract, or some kind of you contribute your thing and I'll contribute my thing, something like that. All right, what else have we got? I'm kind of all over the place, I think. This started out a little chaotic because I just have so much stuff I want to say. Happy Saturday. I want to see if a couple more cards will come out before I give my spiel. All right, there we go. All right, we have Ace of Cups, which is related to healing or that new soul that is supposedly coming into your life that we talked about yesterday. We have Justice. This is when the karma has been paid, the relief you feel when the karma has been paid, or the things working out in your favor if you were the one experiencing the injustice before. And then we have the Two of Swords, which is struggling to make a decision, not feeling like you have any good options. Okay, so that I will clarify and get more out of these. I'll focus on them a little bit more too as a sequence. But first, I just want to say, whenever I first started doing tarot, I noticed that a lot of things would be coming up related to my own life, and I was worried that the messages were more for me than for my audience. And so I would stop recording even and start a new one. I would make sure I was giving readings to myself so I could get that stuff out of my system before I started giving a reading to the audience. And then tarot, like Michelle from Tarot and Astrology with Michelle, said that whenever she stopped having someone in mind, herself or someone in her personal life, like her brother in law or whatever, whenever she stopped having someone in her personal life in mind, when she did the general reading, that's when it really started landing and resonating with people. When she said that, I was like, well, I still feel like I'm just getting so much of my own stuff coming through on these messages. And so I didn't really know how to make that transition at first. And so I just kept doing the readings anyway. And sometimes it would feel very personal to me, and other times it would feel like it was not necessarily all that specific to me. But here's where I have arrived with that. Tyler Henry is a very famous psychic medium, and everything feels personal to him. Like whenever he gets a psychic hit, it will feel like a memory that isn't his. And here's another thing, like this is just the recipe of the little data points of how I have arrived where I am right now. And I could change again in 3 months, who knows? But Lori Cohen is, I think that's her name. She's a animal communicator, and she largely talks to cats. And she's legit. She really does channel cats or some higher intelligence. Certainly, it's really entertaining. But she gets a lot of criticism because people will be like, "Did the cat really watch that movie that you're referencing to make your point?" And she will often say, "No, they use whatever is in her data bank to make the connections. Because if they did something that was foreign to her, it would be even harder for her to understand the point they're coming across." So when you make a connection with someone, it uses your life experience. I wouldn't be able to give you guys messages based on life lessons I hadn't learned yet. So I am this instrument, and you know, I do think people who watch me are interested in the same kind of things. They're working out the same type of life lessons that I'm learning, and the audience will rotate all the time. Like right now, you might be heavily dealing with relationships, and later you might not be. Hard to say. And maybe at some point I will be less I mean, that's really what life is about, is relationships. So probably, and I'm a Libra rising, 3 planets in Libra. I'm probably always going to be dealing with relationships. But anyway, hope that was a satisfying spiel. I don't know if it was. One second. This is black tea with Hershey's caramel syrup and some cream cheese foam that I made by melting cream cheese and like tempering it with milk until it became cream cheese foam. And it is, if I had a coffee shop, I would call it caramel cheesecake tea. All right. Okay, so we have Temperance, we have the Sun, 3 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, the Justice card, and the 2 of Swords. So the Temperance card speaks to the purification that is called for whenever you get a little close to the sun with truth or raising your vibration, opening your heart, all of that stuff. It requires some purification, and that can be uncomfortable. So you just kind of have to take it a little at a time. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles. So you might be talking to other people who are going through a similar thing as you are right now. Getting together with other people about what you're working on, what you're working through, is going to lead to a healing of, at the very least, yourself, but also whatever it is you share could lead to a healing for other people. The Justice card is like the pain that you're going through right now, whether it's emotional or physical, psychological, financial, like stress, anything that you're going through right now is kind of like there's a divine timing element to it. It's like it's due, it's a bill, and even though it sucks, once you pay it, it's paid, and then life goes on, business as usual. And then the 2 of Swords, it looks like you will have a decision to make, which on the bright side means you're going to have an opportunity or a door that might be opening that wasn't open before, but it's going to be confusing, and you're really going to have to confront some fear in order to make the choice. All right, let's see what else we got. Clarify Temperance. Everything I did say yesterday, though, it was a general reading. It really was for the whole audience, but I'm included in that collective too, which is fun. And so much of that has already come to fruition. And even like the 4 of Cups, and I was fantasizing about beverages, one of the things came to pass at a coffee shop today. So I'm not going to give details because it's a little too real time of my personal life, but bonkers. And then the New Soul too. The New Soul wasn't romantic, but was related to money, which is Pentacles. So we'll see. The weekend is young. If you had anything come to fruition yet, I'd love to know. Clarify Temperance. All right, we have the 9 of Swords, which also I did a reading for myself with the same deck before I did this reading, and some of these cards have come out twice. So speaks more to me being a mirror for the collective, at least this collective that watches my videos. We have the 9 of Swords. So this is, yeah, you're really up to your eyeballs in, like, you are really questioning whether you can handle everything it feels like you're being called to deal with right now. Like this might be a supreme struggle bus situation right now. You're not alone in that. Not just me, but also the person I ran into at the coffee shop also going through that as well. Also has some physical injuries related to just they thought they overdid it with running on the like running and walking and stuff, but they're also going through like a huge time of instability, and so it kind of makes sense that they would be feeling it in their legs. Clarify the sun. Okay, we have the devil. Whoa, what a juxtaposition. The sun, a metaphor for God, and then the devil. And what came out with that also is the Knight of Wands. Oh my gosh, that is so weird. The Knight of Wands, y'all. That is like the irresistible, non-committal lover boy. And the devil card. Unhealthy attachments. Clarifying the sun, which the sun is a Leo card too. So for some of you, this could be a you. Let's see. That is so weirdly spot on. Hang on a second. The devil in this devil card, you can see there's a bunch of hands being like there's stuff in all the hands with the devil representing all the promise of materialism that the devil is trying to offer you in exchange for your soul. It costs you your soul to make deals with the devil. And the Knight of Wands could be, yeah, somebody that's tempting you to crazy, somebody that is tempting you to make another deal. Wow. Dorothy talked about that today in her webinar too. So that's just wild. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is painful. Super painful, like broken bones painful. This is speaking of the pain though that happens when justice arrives. Like, and Dorothy was saying too in her webinar, like bones tend to break like when karma is being paid, and once the break happens, it's immediately followed by relief because the debt has been paid. And Pentacles can speak to debt as well. But the Three of Pentacles, yeah, that's what it is. This Three of Pentacles has to do with the debts we have with other people. And this is speaking to completion. Like whatever previous contract you had with this irresistible lover boy, lover girl that you couldn't quite pin down. That, yeah, business dealings never quite felt like they were on the up and up. The karma has been paid, and it's really painful, but the debt is done. Deed is done. Clarify the Ace of Cups. This is promising. Ace of Cups is a good one. It's about love. And something Dorothy said to me, not to me, but to everybody today in her webinar was whatever it is you feel like you want from another person, like ask God for it and God will give it to you. And I've asked God for things plenty of times in my prayers, but a lot of times it's like, is he really listening? Does this really work? I'm just kind of at the mercy and hoping. And a lot of times I'm still in pain even after I pray. So sometimes it just creates a lot of doubt as to whether your prayers are really being answered. But I heard it differently today when Dorothy said that. And it made me get in touch with what I truly want, not just to be out of pain, but what is it in my external reality that I actually want? what do I feel like I want from relationships that have let me down, stuff like that, and like asking God for it, like I want to feel this way, God. It's without words because words are just like they slow it down. It's just more, it's all nonverbal or pre-verbal, but it's just getting in touch with the feeling that I hope to feel. And most of the time, I just feel stagnant inside because it's like, well, this person never allows me to feel that way. I can't get what I need or want from them, but they seem to represent what they have something to do with what I want. I want this from them and nobody else. And but then I'm constantly met with, well, I can't have it. So, and then that just creates spiritual constipation. It just really does. And that constipation leads to physical pain. And so I just asked for God for it. And weirdly, it felt really good. Like it felt like I took a spiritual SHIT because it allowed me to acknowledge what I want without the belief that I never am going to have it. And it's like a release and a completion. So whether I actually get what I want from the person that has proven over and over again they're never going to give it to me, it's like something got resolved anyway. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's what I'm thinking of with this Ace of Cups. It's like the vibration of fulfillment, feeling fulfilled, and like you have your needs met. Okay, we have the Ace of Pentacles, clarifying the Ace of Cups. I love it when that happens. And yeah, this is so everything I said before, asking for what you want, getting in touch with what represents fulfillment to you, and then this is the materialization of it. This is having it be brought down to earth. So this is kind of playing around with it in your heart space and getting heaven involved. And this is seeing it show up on earth somehow in whatever form it chooses to arrive. It'll probably blow your mind. Clarify the Justice card. And yeah, all I have to give are kind of personal examples, but it doesn't mean it's not for you, because it is. It's just, I can only do so much to personalize it in a general reading. And I watched loads of general readings myself, and sometimes they'll be on something and I know it resonates, and I don't know how it resonates with everybody, but I know it is for everyone because it's like the archetype of it. But it's just whether the tarot reader is saying the words in the right order that you need to hear it. But so I don't know. It's like a co-work situation. I do my best and you do the rest. Clarify. There we go. Okay, clarifying the Justice card is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords. Let me think about what this is. The Seven of Swords. Okay, it's about being sneaky. And it's about like yeah, tricking people, manipulating them into getting your needs met. And justice is happening because of that. You're either being freed from someone who tricked you. That's one way of taking it. Also with the Devil card, once we make a deal with the devil, then we become co-conspirators against our own best interest. It's like when like a virus knocks at your door and it's like the virus is like, hey, I'm you. I'm really you. I'm safe. Will you let me in? And then your immune system makes a mistake and lets the virus in, and then your body starts making mRNA and all of that towards it. It starts working in service of an outside influence that does not have respect for the host. And so you start working against your own best interest. And this is, if your previous deal you made with the devil is over, you've come to the end of it, you've done the work required to get out of that deal, and it might still be trying to knock at the door, but when justice arrives, it's like this case is closed. but it's also if somebody was involved in fooling you, they're experiencing the consequences of that as well. It's not really, it's very important not to delight in other people's suffering though, or to feel vindicated or any of that. Like that's low vibe stuff. It's not good. All right. Have compassion. Take care of yourself. Trust that God's got you, and trust that God's got everyone else, no matter what they're dealing with. Okay. Clarify the Two of Swords. Queen of Cups. The Two of Swords. Two of Swords is about having a decision that feels like urgent. It feels dire to your life, and feeling super stressed out about the consequences, and like it's all up to you somehow. And the Queen of Cups is clarifying that this is basically saying whatever choice you make to make sure that you are remembering self-love, like remember to love yourself and care for yourself, and like do what love would do. Remember your own self the way you would someone else that you loved. If someone else was struggling with a decision that they felt was dire, it probably would be easy for you to say something kind and encouraging and like help them take the burden off themselves. And this is just showing you to do that for yourself. And this also could be pointing to having someone else in your life that represents this really nurturing figure. So someone, if this, you do what you can in this regard, but where you fall short, someone else will step in if you need it and help you make a good decision, or at least stop worrying about it to the degree that you're, if you're overthinking it, like that's not helpful. So they'll help you figure out, like the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That type of thing. I just thought I would pull a couple extra cards for giggles. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. The Eight of Swords is about feeling trapped. And a lot of tarot readers call this the overthinking card, but that never is satisfying to me. So I'm going to try to go a little deeper with that. This is about feeling, this is a lot of stress for whatever reason, feeling like you have more than you can handle, but it's not to do with emotions, it's to do with mental stuff. So this is a lot of believing your fear thoughts. And the Wheel of Fortune, something I just learned today about this Wheel of Fortune, my only reference has been, it's so weird because we just talked about this yesterday or the day before that, and I did not make the connection. But now I was talking about the Price is Right, and this is what I'm about to say has this wheel in it. Anyway, the Wheel of Fortune, a lot of people interpret this as the wheel turning in your favor or doing a 180, something like that. But the wheel has lots of things on the wheel. It's maybe it could be bankruptcy. You don't know. That doesn't sound very promising, but it did make me consider that the Wheel of Fortune just has a bunch of things on it that you could get. You spin the wheel, you don't know what you're going to get. And in this moment, with all of this stuff that you're thinking about a lot, stressing at, believing your fear thoughts, you don't have control. You don't have control. Something is changing in your life. Some of it's going to be good, and some of it's going to be bad. But just, I don't know, anchor yourself in what is always the same. And that is, I hope you don't mind if it's going to sound like proselytizing, but the sun, a metaphor for God, the happiest card in the deck, no, like not a coincidence. This represents joy and fun and play and creation. The sun, obviously in the grand scheme of time on this material world, actually will go out at some point, but for the most part in our lifetimes and many lifetimes before and after, the sun doesn't change. It represents infinity. It represents it. It's not actual infinity because it exists in the material world, but rest your sense of stability and peace in something that never changes. It seems to hide, it seems to not be there when we get weather and it's night and whatever, but it's always there, metaphorically, in the same place, relative to Earth. All right. I hope you liked it. If I said this went long. Oh gosh. Oh well. All right. I hope you liked it. If something I said resonated, please let me know by liking and subscribing. I'll see you again soon. Bye.